Yo, yo, yo. What up,
Yo,
boys?
GM.
GM, how's it going? TrueCon, I see you. Stately, I see you. Pitch,
Yo,
what's up,
pitch.
man?
No,
GM,
door.
yo,
Even
Schiller.
we got the Schiller in here
Even
too.
got Schiller waking up early. Alvi, Manga, yo, Manga. Mr. Big Influence, here's second. Yo, I'm totally with the first, though. Let's go, baby. Now let's get the energy.
Yo, Jay Henry. Appreciate that. Man, that's how you know you made it. You see the fakes on Twitter pop up with all your apes and NFTs. That's
Yeah.
gotta love waking up to that.
Yo, we got the BSB guarantee in there. Zach, we got Zach Attack. Both of them. Jay Booze. Hey man, appreciate everybody stopping by. Um, we'll see how the time works out for everybody. This is just something that we figured would be a good time to start off. So if we need to adjust it, just for everybody's convenience, we can do that. So, Big Reckon. Did I miss anybody? I hope I didn't. Hope I did not. But yeah, man, welcome to the first stream. Denver Dog. This is NFA. So what does NFA stand for? Non-Fungible Alpha, but it's not your typical like alpha group or anything like that. We're pretty much trying to educate everybody on how to be their own alpha, right? So how can we best provide you with the knowledge, the content, the resources to go out there and make the best decisions for yourself? So, we have alpha in the name, but we're not just another alpha group. Sure, will we call things out? Probably, but it's not financial advice at the same time, right? So it's non-fungible alpha, not financial advice. Something that we just wanted to start because we felt some content out there was missing in terms of the just structured, you know. Maybe a lot of stuff is free flowing, which is really good. That's good to have as well. But in terms of the structure and the two-way flow, between myself and Tagline, and hopefully a third later on, sneak peek. What's
Yo,
up, Fish? Vaughn Schiller. So I'll tell you a little bit about myself. Obviously, my name's Jeremy. Most of y'all know me by Yo Jeremy. Started back in Top Shot like late January, early February. Uh, got the little itch from that. Moved over to Ethereum. I started out with like 0.16 Ethereum, actually 0.08, but then I wasted it, absolutely wasted it. Then I added another 0.08 in there, and then I've been playing with house money ever since. So I've only put 0.16 Ethereum in, grown that portfolio to over seven figures, and now we're here. So, tagline?
man, now we're here, right? It's crazy. Yeah, I'd love to get started. Thanks everyone for joining us this morning. Our first stream. It's gonna take us a bit to get our stride, but yeah, we like Jeremy said, we want to try to bring some more curated segments, not just talking about the news. We want to bring that too, but also like in a more unique way. But yeah, a little bit about myself. I'm Tagline. I think most everyone here kind of knows me from the Schillerverse or OCG or other places. But yeah, I started in NFTs similar with pretty much everyone else back in Top Shot in February of last year. Coming up on that 1 year here pretty quick, and then I had like a unique path. Luckily I wasn't in the Schillerverse at the time, and I wasn't a basketball fan, so I was lucky enough to sell Top Shot at the top instead of hold through everything. So I was kind of sold out of most of Top Shot around March, and that's how I moved into. I had a weird stint in from March to April in Cardano NFTs. Like Space Buds, Cardano Bits, just all these Cardano NFTs that were popping off. Then I switched from Cardano NFTs to Ethereum NFTs, Zed, Bored Apes, and kind of got the snowball running from there. And then, like you said, now we're here.
Now we're here. With the boys, I mean, obviously, there's a lot of familiar names in the chat. Everybody's been with us almost since the beginning, almost since Top Shot. Q Dog's in the channel now. JVB's here. What's up? Gokina GM.
Katkina.
I can't remember who I said hi to earlier, Jay Henry or Jay Booze. Maybe both, but they both get a shout out again. You'll feel the Vern. What's up, you freaking whales? Tag Daddy's the whale.
Nah, not a whale, sir.
Yeah, so that's our introduction. Welcome to the stream again. We're going to get some more stuff going in terms of branding, content. We're going to get a better intro that's just a template. We'll get all that stuff popping for you guys. If you see in the chat, there'll be like some interactions, some keywords you can throw in there, some commands. Trying to make it fun, keep it entertaining. We don't want to waste anybody's time, so we're gonna do it. Like I said, really structured in terms of segments. 60 to 90 minutes. Um, we're not gonna keep rambling on. So, tagline. Do you want to lead us through the floor updates?
Yeah, let's pull up. I got my screen right here. Let's go ahead and add this.
Cool.
All right, so we're just going to go through some floors. Right now we're using Flips.finance. I don't know who's ever used that kind of this website before. Jeremy just brought to my attention yesterday. It's a fantastic tool. But let's kind of just see kind of some of these floor changes. So for the past 24 hours, we've seen Cool Monkeys is the top gainer with a 106% change. There's only 414 listed, and that's the reason. I don't know if you guys know much about this one. This is one where you stake it and you earn a coin. So most of these that aren't listed, they're in a staking contract. There's around, I think, a little over 4,000 unique owners for this one. But the one that probably most people know of is the Crypto Chicks at 45%. I think they've kind of they had a lot of traction on Twitter lately because they had this graphic that released that said they were the first women profile picture, which kind of and it says it in their bio. But I want to get your thoughts, Jeremy, because how important is it being the first? Does it really affect that much? And also, since they posted that, someone else came out and said that they actually weren't the first. We get a lot of people claiming they're the first. Everyone wants to be the first, but Crypto Stacy's was actually the first woman profile picture, and that was back like 2 months prior to Crypto Chicks. You're on mute.
Yeah, I am on mute. Yo, beginner mistake. So, no, I think it is important or not important, it's valuable to be first. So that's why I can see the temptation for a lot of these projects to say first this, first that, and then some XYZ combination. But this one I found interesting because they literally just said, "Hey, we are the first all women PFP," which is just a straight up lie. And you know that even if you haven't been in the space, you know that there's been projects that have been existing before them that were all women PFPs. So I thought it was an interesting play call there. It's not good for anybody because it introduces like drama into this scene, which we try to stay out of course. But it's just it brings that negativity, the toxicity to the timeline. It's like you're not, so just come up with something else. Those things look really good, and I'm sure they have some cool people within the community or as holders. So focus on that. Focus on what you're going to bring to the table instead of pretty much just saying a blatant lie.
Yeah, and I think they weren't even the first because they started off with the first 200 one of one collection, but then I think Fame Lady Squad was technically the first 10K generated woman profile picture as well. Even though that team's kind of changed since then, be that what you will. But yeah, I think that's interesting. We've also seen a lot of movement, kind of in this like lower tier range. From the last 24 hours, we've got Fang Gang, Koala Intelligence Agency, the Woodies, Mutant Cats. Like a lot of these like smaller projects are seeing pretty significant jumps, which is interesting because we're seeing a lot of the top. It's just staying stale and stagnant. But yeah, let's look into the opposite of all this. Let's see who's at the bottom. So we've got kind of. I'm going to skip over the ones that aren't too popular because if we look over the 24-hour volume, we can kind of look at that to kind of get a better idea. But I think animatas have dropped a lot. Anonymize. Oh man, imagine buying Anonymized set. I think they got to like 12 or 13 ETH. And now,
Mm-hmm.
now they're down bad. But Lives of Asuna, that one got a lot of hype early on, and it's down almost 20% in the last 24 hours. Were you? I know they just had their raffle and everything. Were you on that?
Lives of Suna, I did enter the raffle, but I didn't win. So
Right. Cool. Yeah, we've got Lil Heroes is down. We're seeing a lot of red, but I think a lot of the bigger projects. Um, let's see. We just go 24-hour volume. All the bigger projects are kind of staying in their same, you know, within the 10% range. But it's interesting to see Clone X. Clone X is the top 24-hour volume. Is it because of this announcement? I know they just have their snapshot, so do we think that's going to start slowing down now?
Yeah, I think you see the volume probably start to slow down on CloneX. There was the snapshot very late at night, pretty much overnight for the US folks. Then there's two airdrops, right? There's an airdrop for the CloneX and the vials. That's one group, and then you have the space pods as another snapshot. So that's two different airdrops for that community. And again, we're kind of seeing them like, for the most part, Artifact has taken on that gas cost. There was a thing for revealing the vials, but in terms of you know airdropping the vials to you, airdropping extra ones, the space pod, they're really eating that cost. Which is not, I'm not saying like, oh my gosh, great for them, because they've made a lot of money. It should almost be like the standard in terms of that, especially when you get going.
Right.
Like that, those projects should really eat that cost.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you're still holding Clonex, right? At least a
Yeah,
couple.
yeah. I have a couple Clone X's, couple Space Pods. For me, I was into Artifact before Clone X. I
Hmm.
was always kind of preaching what they do, because it was really impressive in terms of their quality, the quality of drops that they have, the quality of the website and the videos, um, just what they were trying to do with the community. They're really informative and educational. Just trying to do everything right. So I can see why they stuck out to Nike in terms of the acquisition, because they were just one of the top players in the game. They may
Right.
have not been popular for the crowd that we were part of, in Top Shot and then getting into Chillerverse and stuff like that, because they were already on another level, and we were on some like degen type stuff. We still are. So I don't think Artifact made it into a lot of people's vocabulary. People still don't even know how to say it correctly, right? So
RTKFKT.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
right. I think it
So
took
now
me a while
that
to put
Clone
that
X is
together.
here, now
Right.
that Clone X is here, I mean, people know them, but now it's because of Clone X. But I do see that volume dropping off after the snapshot.
Yeah, we did see a lot of pushback for CloneX whenever whenever Artifact announced that they were bought out by Nike.
Yeah.
As someone that's supported Artifact basically all last year, what was your kind of take on that? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it, it's not too Web3, but it's also like you kind of have to maybe have a mix of Web2, Web3.
Yeah, I mean, I think for better or worse, there's going to be Web 2 companies coming in and just establishing their dominance right off the rip in Web 3, because I think it's healthy too, because they introduced that to mainstream audiences. I mean, would you rather wait for 5 years for people to get in, or would you rather companies like Nike and Gucci and IPs like this to get in and accelerate that, right? So
Right.
I think it's good. Sure, can it be looked at as a cash grab? Yes, but they have stockholders and to please, and honestly, it's worth it, because they could have came in and did some crazy Dutch auction starting at like 5 ETH or something, and go down, but they're still making it relatively affordable. And they're not saying that you have to buy it. There's other ways that you can participate in the ecosystem without having, Genesis drops or avatars and PFPs and whatnot. Just highlighting a question here from QDog, which is pretty much kind of like your question. Speaking of big companies, what do y'all think of GameStop and Immutable partnership?
I honestly haven't looked. I mean, I don't know about you. I haven't looked too much into it. I know that you are a lot more involved in the Immutable platform than I am,
Hmm.
with a lot of like the gaming side of NFTs. That's more your side. So I'd be interested to see your thoughts on this.
Yeah. So GameStop and Immutable, they pretty much partnered to do $100 million grant for NFT creators, and obviously that's going to be hosted on the Immutable X chain. Um, GameStop here, they've done a great job in the last year, kind of pivoting after the meme session that they had with their coin. I think that really opened their eyes to what's available out there. The funding kind of coming from the crowdsource funding, and it's just a whole different type of a way to raise capital and markets to enter. Right, so they're absolutely pivoting, and I think it's good for them. I think it's the only way for them to survive. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know. We've seen a lot of pushback on like layer twos and side chains in
Hmm.
terms of Ethereum. So I don't know how much traffic they're going to get off the rip, but that's what it's going to take, right? It's not going to take, or Zedrun isn't going to do it, because
Yeah.
new people who are here, people have the money. They're like, what the heck is Zedrun? Why should I get in? But people know GameStop, right? They know
Yeah.
GameStop for
Yeah.
ripping them off, but at least they know them. So they know that it's a brand that I can't say they can trust, but they know that they're not going to try to wreck themselves. They can't rug pull. They can't just ghost. So
Right.
big brands like that is what it's going to take to make that transition.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like similar thinking, my first initial going back to kind of the Clone X thing, and this kind of pairs in with the GameStop. My initial reaction is, man, that's not what Web3 is for. That's not what we're here. It's just these big companies taking advantage of our communities. But when I step back and look at it, I kind of you can definitely see the positives there, especially with there's the news of Bored Apes. They're raising money right now based off, I think it's like a 5 billion valuation, which a lot of people see that as a negative. Why are they going outside whenever they have people within the Bored Ape community that would be more than happy to put up money? But the thing is, they're trying to get these connections outside. They're not just a profile picture. They're trying to build a brand that's recognized worldwide, and you need those VCs. You need those real world connections to really accomplish the things that they want to accomplish, which we don't even know. I don't think we really comprehend what they have in store yet. I think people think about it, but yeah, I think they got some big plans coming.
Yeah, big plans, and it's big money, right? And
Yeah.
the thing is, like, I think Web3 really enables like this transfer of wealth, and it's already happened. So like, eh, and just like us, like we can become the creators of tomorrow because we've already spent time. We've been rewarded for our time here. So I think there's just gonna be a mix. You're gonna see new brands. You're gonna see new um, influencers, new identities, right? New types of celebrities. And you're gonna see like metaverse characters, metaverse avatars, like completely almost anon, and just fabricated and made up, and those are gonna be the new types of celebrities in the future. So
Right.
it's strange, but that's the world that we live in.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned that, like it's so cool to think about. In real life, a celebrity is basically like they're branding themselves, and it's weird to think about. Like in Web3 and NFTs, you can build a brand around this avatar, but then you can basically sell that avatar and brand to someone else to take over. Like it's just so crazy because you can't really do that in real life. You can't build up my own person and be like, all right, well, I'm gonna have someone else take over me now. That's kind of the weird thing to think about in Web3, and that's I think the future we're headed to. People are building up these brands around these apes, around these punks, around something, and then they can eventually they bring value to that individual NFT, just based off the brand they build off of it. But
Nice. Yeah. I mean, we'll continue the conversation for sure later on. Hey, one thing we did earlier in the week when we told everybody we're going to go live on Friday is, hey, comment what your goals are this year. Because we're still early 2022. We just hit February. It's freezing outside. I just got back from driving in the ice to go get my latte. I'm addicted. I'm loyal, so I had to do it. But NFT goals this year, man. What do you have?
oh man, for myself, let's see. So all last year when I first got into NFTs, I didn't start off with this huge chunk of change. We're not wealthy, we're not well off. So I only started off with like $1,500. So my goal last year was like, man, if I could turn this 1,500 into like a hundred K, that'd be like my ultimate goal last year. And the whole time my wife was like, you know what? When are we going to pay off my student loans? Because my wife's a veterinarian, so she's got this big stack of student loans from vet school, and she constantly was like, "When are we going to pay them off? When are we going to pay them off?" And I kept telling her like, "Well, if I take that money out, I can't invest it into anything else right now."
Hmm.
So I kept kind of putting it off. But this year, I, I mean, this year may be the year that I actually take a big chunk out and pay off those loans just to get it done with. Make her super happy and make us feel comfortable for our future. So I think that's maybe one of my goals. Also, is just to continue to build. This is our first stream, and yeah, I kind of want to, build this brand NFA with you, and if we bring someone else on, just get more comfortable in the content creation and just kind of see where we can go from here. Those are kind of my two goals right now.
Yeah. So, for that third addition to the team, they may need to be single because both you and I are married. So we have different perspectives, different priorities.
Yeah.
Because I'd say that my goals are kind of in line with that. Um, we don't have any student loans, but of course we didn't go on to become like a freaking doctor or anything like that. So, um, but we both had our scholarships to go to school. We were both pretty fortunate in terms of how we got to where we were, and even before NFTs, like everything was really comfortable. But what NFTs have done for us is allow us to accelerate um, our progress to those goals that we wanted it to do. And this doesn't change anything, right? The money that I made from here doesn't change any of that. It's like, oh, now we want an 8 bedroom house. Now I want now I want a Ferrari or something like this,
Right.
beach house. So it just kind of accelerates the goals that we already had and brings them closer, and hopefully allows us to get the biggest asset back to ourselves, which is time, right? Time is priceless. So that's always something that I preach. So my goals is probably um, allowing my wife to leave her job and try to discover what she really likes to do, what her passion is. And the way I do that is making sure that everything is secure for us. So that pretty much just means the house at the moment, and then make sure we have a comfortable safety padding. We have our vehicles paid off, and the house is pretty much the only thing that we owe. So
Right. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how like where we are now, thinking of where we started. These are our goals now. Which is like thinking about this last year was insane. I quit my job in August, and some of the best things that NFTs have brought is freedom of time. Not necessarily like, oh, I'm just going to make as much money as I can, but I think freedom of time, just not. Having that freedom is just so valuable. It's so underrated. And it's just so like mentally freeing and just kind of, yeah, it's nice. But
for sure.
whenever we put out our tweet announcing the stream, one question was from our viewers is, what are your NFT goals? So I think we have a few that we can point out here.
Yeah, I was just highlighting Dort God and Manga. They were talking about, this Dort said vet school loans, right? And Manga's already been to school to be a doctor, and now he's also, we were talking the other day, like Manga's also using his NFT skills and prowess to hopefully one day pay those off far quicker than he imagined before. So,
Right.
but yeah, let's highlight a couple goals here. So shout out Snow Wolf, Tomas.
Yeah,
So
well,
again
I see
here,
a common theme.
pay back school loans. It's a common theme. Well, I mean, that's a whole nother wormhole. We can go down that another time. But man, school loans. I think it's time for kind of like a reformation in terms of university and stuff, and the way we do that. So I see that happening already. But
Right.
shout out to those who are paying off their school loans and NFTs, making that possible.
Yeah, and then we've got let's see, got Kristen underscore ETH. Bring more women into the space. I think like, that's a huge one. I mean, I think that should be a goal for everybody. Whenever we go to, I went to these NFT meetups last year, New York City, Miami, and a lot of them was. I'm gonna be honest. There's a lot of guys, especially we were at the Top Shot party with a bunch of people here in the chat as well. The Top Shot party was like 98% men. It was it was a little rough, but there's a lot more diversity than I expected at some places. Like I think Miami there was a lot, but I think we still have a long way to go from having women at the top of projects, top of content creation, and everything.
Yeah, I love that. That's my sister's goal and objective. I shared that same thing with her, and I'm not, virtue signaling or anything else, but women have, always been a big part of my life in terms of growing up, and the way that we should treat them, respect them, and just the way that they're equal. That's how I was raised up in my family. They deserve the same opportunities, same pay, everything else like that. So, one of my big things is, and what I wanted to eventually do is, help more women get into this space, and that's why I'm such a big fan of the BFF project that happened this week, because that's pretty much their main goal is to get others not like us into the game. So yeah, I love that from my sister.
Yeah,
Vern put in there, let my wife quit her job, so that's also
yeah.
another common theme.
And who's gonna work in a year? Who's it's everyone's quitting. But and let's see. We've also got Shane. Shane NFT. This is one of my boys in real life. One of my friends. I've known him for a decade. His goal is simple: to mint my first NFT. Now, Shane, I think you're here in the chat. That already happened, so we need another goal. You minted I think your first official mint was that 100 Thieves free mint, so that counts as your first one. And then you
Shout out
just,
100 Thieves.
yeah, and I know you just, I know Shane just bought his first item on secondary on OpenSea 2 yesterday, so I think we're going to need a bigger goal from Shane.
Yes, sir. Maybe he makes his goal my first paid mint. We got Trucon in here. Trucon, shout out California. Trucon says he wants to be well and own a mansion like Daggy.
I wish I owned a mansion, Trucon. Trucon's got like 5 mansions, and he's got one in L.A., Vegas, Oklahoma. He's all over the place. That guy's already a whale.
Yo, Just a Fish, welcome to the stream. Let's see who else. Chile, I shouted you out in the chat, but just wanted to say good morning, GM, Kristen, and Sinewy. Yo, Sinewy, welcome. Appreciate you stopping out, man. This man gaps.
Trucon, come on now.
Yo, Hunar. Hunar says, what's up? What up? Trying to get my own place. About to be 30 and never had my own place. Dude, we're all on our own timeline, man. I know people far older than that, and whether they have their own place or not, like, it's just different scenarios. Some people want to travel. Some people want to be nomads and have a little tent here and there. Some people eventually settle down, but with the grind that you have and the creativity that you have, I have no doubt, man, whatever you want to do this year specifically, this is the year. So go get it.
Go get it, Hunar. All right. So let's go to a different little segment. Let's talk about who did it worse. All right. So this week there's been, I mean, what a great week for us to start with. We'll start streaming because there's so much content this week. So we're gonna start off. We're gonna pit these two projects together, and we're gonna say, we're gonna see who did it worse. So the first one is Cool Pets and Cool Cats. I got my Cool Cat hat on. I love the Cool Cats, but they had some rough patches this week. So let's kind of review what happened with them. Their schedule. They were scheduled to release Cool Pets last Friday. For those that didn't know, they have 10,000 reserved for Cool Cat holders to claim for free. Then they have 10,000 that are going to be sold at 0.5 each, and most of those are going to be done via an allow list. And I think like 1,500 for a public mint. Mm-hmm. So that was supposed to start last Friday. Mm-hmm. Ended up getting delayed over the weekend. They hadn't issued the contract, which that's fine. You want to make sure something's done correctly, so there's no issues. It was delayed until Monday. I believe it was delayed again until Tuesday. So Tuesday, you were actually able to claim if you're a Cool Cat holder. I think only 4,000 of the Cool Cat holders were able to claim because you can only do it through the contract. The website wasn't working. That they shut it down because they found an issue. They said it was a DNS issue and it was going to take 48 hours.
Yeah.
During that time frame, I mean, that day was crazy because you had these people minting, and then OpenSea it was a verified collection already, but OpenSea took down the collection. And then I think when they took it down, the price was around like 2.8 or something, right? And then once it was taken down, OpenSea, after it came back up, all the listings were basically canceled, so you had to relist. And at that point, there were sales happening at 3.5, 3.6, 3.4, like all in that mid 3 range before it dropped back down. So right now the floor is sitting at 2.2. We just got a new update, so they just now reopened minting for Cool Cat holders this morning. And there's about 4,000 left to claim last time I checked for Cool Cat holders. But now the allow list isn't going to happen until Monday, and then public sale will happen on Tuesday. So they've had a rough week. And I think my biggest issue with them, I don't have an issue of delays as long as there's good reasoning for it. My biggest issue is that there was times where there was 48 hours went by without any announcement or communication from the team of what's in depth what's going on. I think we were told there was a DNS issue and it was going to take them 48 hours to fix. And from what I've always, or from what I heard in the community, from people that are familiar with it, that's not an issue that takes that long to fix. I don't know what you've heard or anything, but it seemed like there may be more to the story than that. But that's kind of the cool pets, cool cats, not drama, but all their issues kind of summed up for this week.
Yeah, and Cool Cats, man, I was pretty disappointed with them. I know they've done great work so far, but everybody knows what happened with the drop. You just summarized it. The thing is the announcement of the delays. Like, you don't get up to a drop in like a minute or two before, say, oh shoot, we found something and now we have to delay. And then they delayed. Hey, we're gonna fix something and everything's gonna be working fine. They fix something. They say, psych, we're gonna have to delay again. And at that point, and especially on the allow list one where they said there was DNS issues, from the moment that you know that it's a DNS issue, and Bernie's in the chat, I believe, he could tell you this, is that the moment you know that there's a DNS issue and you have to make a fix on like a production for DNS, you know that everything takes about 48 hours for that to propagate across DNS. So from that moment that they knew it, they should have said, hey, it's going to be at least 2 to 3 days, right? Because they kind of like give you that hope, hey, maybe it's going to reopen up tonight or tomorrow morning. So they waited to make that announcement, and then from the moment they made the announcement, then they said it's going to take 48 hours.
Right. Yeah, so that's our first nomination of who did it worse. And the second one, I'm gonna let you take the second one because you woke up yesterday and you chose violence against Top Shot. Your tweets were piercing towards. I don't know if anyone follows Jeremy on Twitter, but but he went after them. So what happened with Top Shot yesterday?
Top Shot, man, we saw it live. Yo, exclamation rigged in the chat. I don't think we have a command for that, but it's still rigged. So Top Shot released a elite pack that's done by KD, where KD narrated some moments. There was five moments in each pack. It's $49 each. Maybe 15,000 packs or so. I forgot the number. Regardless, what happened was there's different tiers of the moments that were in these packs. From the event ones to MGLE to Hollow, and I think there was another one in there in the beginning. But towards the end, because we were all ribbon packs, right? There was about 6 or 7 of us in the chat. We were in the queue. We got our packs. Some people jumped back in, and really the people who jumped back in are the ones who kind of uncovered it for us. They kind of proved our point, other than the mathematics. What happened was the people who were towards the front of the queue were getting like the little commons or uncommons, right? And then people kind of towards the latter half of the middle started getting the rares, and it was back to back. So how many ever packs they bought, 1, 2, 3, that's how many of that tier that they were getting, the same exact tier. So then get to the end where Q-Dog and Gokina, I believe, Q-Dog and Gokina were the ones that were able to jump back in, and the packs that they got at the end were absolutely juiced. Yeah. These things had, so Gokina was able to buy like 3 packs, and he just he opened it. I think who went first, Q-Dog or Gokina?
I think Gokina went first.
So Gokina went first, yeah. And boom, hollow. Opens the next pack, boom, hollow. Opens the next pack, boom, hollow. And it was crazy. And JVB kind of alluded to it and thought that this might happen, but it was kind of like it was almost like a joke. Like, haha, watch all the hollows be at the end. And then as it kind of like progressed, we were like, holy crap, like this might actually be true because this is mathematically impossible. So, and then Q-Dog rips his 2 packs, gets 2 hollows from the packs towards the end of the queue. And I just had to record it at that point, man, because that's the whole premise of like why Top Shot is here, is that you have that fairness. Everybody has the same chance ripping their packs, and especially when you're putting your hard-earned money towards it, like $49 for a pack is really not that cheap.
Right. Yeah, I got my money back. I mean, we all got our money back. I'm glad the guy that pulled 5 hollows yesterday, he also got his refund. So I'm glad he got his refund. But I think it's crazy. Do we think Top Shot's going to do anything else? They announced that they were going to do their refund, but then they stopped. Then that was it. And I feel like that was like the absolute bare minimum Top Shot could do. I feel like there needs to be more, because these people that got 5 hollows, got 3 hollows, got all these hollows, they already not only got the advantage of just getting hollows, basically airdropped to them for all these in a row. But now they have this huge advantage in these hollow challenges that are going to be upcoming, and it's a huge mess up. And luckily, I'm not on the team because I would have no idea how to fix it. I don't know, but I feel like the refund was the bare minimum, but there needs to be something else. But I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I think it's a major mess up. I don't know. They kind of described the issue in the article, and let's see if I can pull it up here. Actually, I wouldn't mind sharing this with the chat and getting their thoughts on it. Won't spend too much time on this. Let's see. Oh, it's not in their blog post or on the website. It's not. Of course, go figure, right? They don't want to. They don't want to FUD themselves. You know where you can find it is on my account. Because, like Tagline said, I was fudding them pretty hard yesterday.
Yeah.
So let me bring that up here. Share my screen. Window Elite Pack Drop. And we're going to go into another picture-in-picture mode. All right. So the problem for me with this is that they said, hey, we wanted to introduce a new pack model. We create and randomize each type of pool, right, of moment separately. This means that we essentially make 3 different types of sub packs. So they're introducing something new, and although each user's position in the queue was randomized, the distribution of the sequence of the packs was not. So again, like it got progressively got better in terms of the queue. The team had done several rounds of testing to prepare for today's drop, but unfortunately, the focus of our team's tests involved using trade tickets. The stress test earlier this week, that focus was on the quantity of packs a collector could purchase based on drop score. So those 2 mechanics, and then plus a new mechanic of the sub packs. But they decided, hey, the one thing that is foundational to this all, not trade tickets, not number of packs you can buy on the drop score, the one thing that's fundamental to Top Shot being able to exist and provide that fairness to its customers, they did not test after changing huge mechanics. I'm like, that is mind-blowing to me. Like, how do you, as a company with this revenue, again, something so foundational, you don't even test it? Like, it's not even a part of your regression test. And my background as a tester, I just find this unbelievable. So I'm not going to blame the testers. They could have had this in their regression suite. But due to deadlines, right, we don't know who's making the shots. And I've been a part of this. Hey, the product manager, whoever else, they're saying, hey, we have to get this out by this deadline. What are some things that we can sacrifice? But this is one of those things that should not have been on that list. If you want to sacrifice something, sacrifice the trade ticket test, sacrifice the drop score test.
Right.
If people can only buy one, boo-hoo, right? You still got a pack. Who cares if the 2 or 3 purchases would have worked? Hey, our bad on that didn't work. The one thing that has to work is the fairness and equity of the pack distribution.
Yeah, it's insane. But to be fair, go and click on back to Top Shot, right there.
Yeah.
Look at the top of that, right next to Top Shot. To be fair, they're still in beta.
It's Top Shot beta.
It's a year and a half later. We're still in beta, but yeah, it's insane. So that to answer the question, or I guess our chat can decide, who did it worse? Was it Cool Pets, Cool Cats, or was it Top Shot? Me personally, I kind of feel like it's Top Shot because what they did was basically screw up their economy. Cool Cats at least delays are frustrating, but they at least delayed it and didn't really do too much to screw anything up. Kaz says Cool Cats. Again, there's a lot. That looks kind of 50-50 a little bit. Some more top shots coming in. Jeremy, what do you think? Who did it worse?
Man, I'm gonna go with number 2, Top Shot. Cool Cats, yeah. I mean, we can forgive them at the end of the day. The mechanics are not broken. In terms of the underlying code, it's just been delayed. Pretty much speed bumps, right? Top Shot, that was literally broken, and something that you can never allow to break in your system as a platform. with their value proposition. Like that is something that's just unfathomable to me.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So it looks like looks like Top Shot did it worse. Sorry, but we'll see. We'll see if they have any more updates today moving forward. I know that they have NFL All Day pack is dropping today. I think still. So in that standard pack, the KD standard pack, I think they pushed it back to it's on Monday now, right? Or
Yes,
Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday,
Monday, I believe.
the 7th. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Hopefully they have it fixed, and then yeah, we'll see. So I kind of wanted to also get your thoughts. So we had this Pixel Vault town hall. I don't want to include them in the who did it worse because they didn't really mess up. But I feel like the Pixel Vault town hall. Were you able to catch it? Did you listen to most of it?
I read your recap.
Okay, yeah. So there wasn't really a ton of breaking big. I mean, the biggest news was they got the 100 million from outside investors. That was kind of the big news, but there wasn't. They literally didn't mention sidekicks at all, which I think everyone was expecting. They announced that there'd be no Pixel Vault token, which was kind of to be expected. Which is I thought it was weird. People were starting to expect that there would be a dollar sign a PV token to show equity in the company, but I think that was kind of unrealistic, and they kind of squashed that. But we saw prices for Meta Heroes, for Pixel Vault, for the planets, 2-3x leading into that town hall, and then as soon as the middle of the town hall happened, everything starts dropping, just because I think it was kind of disappointment with their announcements. But I think it's good. I think it's good to see them recover from the whole Beanie FUD. They're making progress. They're getting that the outside funding from these big firms. I think that kind of legitimizes them as a AAA company trying to build this game studio. But I kind of wanted to segue that conversation into more of like gaming NFTs and the views of NFTs from gamers, because we saw recently Asmongold on Twitter, speak out against NFTs, saying, they won, they're basically trying to cancel these studios that are trying to bring NFTs, and they're viewing it as a war against NFTs. And Asmon is very anti NFT. A lot of these big gamers are anti NFT, which I think is insane. And you're huge into gaming. What are your thoughts? Like, why are all these gamers so against NFTs?
Uh, I think that they they're more exposed to like these meme people and these YouTubers who are just complete like frauds, right? Or they don't have they don't have the understanding and the proper like education to know what NFTs can do for them in terms of their economy. Um, because there's some stuff that I'd rather sell. Like if I could sell my Valorant skins, most of my Valorant skins that I bought right now, I probably would because I don't
Right.
play that game nearly as often to make it worth it for me to hold on to those things. And that's just the most basic example, because that's something that I bought just generic first party from them. But what I would really love to do is like maybe go back and buy significant weapons or significant moments or really weapons for me, like from Call of Duty championships, CS:GO championships. Like if I could hold that and say, hey, this was the last bullet shot for the win, or this was the weapon that was used, um, that would be absolutely sick. And then the other ideas there is like uh, content creators or gamers, professional gamers can kind of monetize, and I'm not saying that in a bad way, but they can monetize and engage with their fans, and they can prove loyalty. Like what blockchain is really great for is proving like that customer loyalty, that consumer loyalty, because you can go back in time and you can take those snapshots and you can see who was here with you since the very beginning. Um, so I just think that they don't understand. They're pretty young, and they don't want to understand, right? They just, I mean, we just want to crank 90s all day and be cracked
Right.
and win some wagers. Uh, so I don't think that they're trying to understand when they take the time for 5 minutes to sit down and see what uh, Web3 and blockchain can do for that space. I think it just clicks. And the other thing is they don't have a lot of people from the top telling them this is why it's good. It's more like horizontal chatter. But now that we see people like Ubisoft coming in, Microsoft actually said like it's pretty dangerous. So that's also some news that they're getting in from them. People like that. Phil Spencer, the leader of Microsoft, said, "Hey, there's a bunch of scams out there. It's dangerous, and we don't want to get into it at the moment."
Right.
So they kind of have this devil angel thing going on, and gamers are just lazy, and they're not going to go and research it. So
Yeah, I mean, I think Chili brings up a good point. I think a lot of these gamers they just see the very surface. What's on the news, what makes headlines. This ape picture sold for $200,000. This picture of a fox sold for $30,000. This cat sold for whatever amount. I don't think they really understand the utility that can be in NFTs. That like what that can bring to games and how that can be freeing to them as someone who's into game. Like, you could spend 12 hours a day playing a game right now and earn nothing. Or with NFTs, you can spend 12 hours a day, but also, earn a little bit on the side. It's a hobby that's you're having fun with, but also you bring a little bit extra in. I'm a huge nerd, so I grew up playing World of Warcraft. I know Chili did. I know there's a lot of other people in here that probably did as well. And whenever I think of that game in particular, 'cause that's basically my background in gaming. I try to view that as like a blockchain version. I view the gold as, there could be a cryptocurrency that's the gold. All this gear that you do dungeons and raids for, that you're grinding for. Those could be NFTs that you put on your character. And then once you're done with it, you can just put it into the auction house, sell it to someone else, and now you get gold, which is a which would be a actual currency that you could trade for USD or use for other in-game items. It just makes way too much sense in my head. And then you could also just take away the subscription fee altogether, and the game studio could just keep their 5% auction house fee, so they would get some of that back, and that would basically be in place of a subscription fee, which they honestly would probably earn more doing that than they would just by charging $14 a month for a game. So whenever I think of that, if there ever is a blockchain version of WoW ever released, then I'm probably just going to quit everything and just be lost in that world. Hopefully, hopefully it doesn't happen just for my sanity. But yeah, it just makes too much sense for me. And I think Q Dog brought a good point as well. I think a lot of the big companies, they want to hold the power. They don't want to give the power to the gamer. They want to sell the skins. They want to sell the subscription. They want to have their secondary marketplace where they get all of 100% of the profit.
yeah, but I think companies who are starting up realize, hey, if you bring that value proposition to every single party that's involved, the creators, the publishers, the developers, and then the consumers, the gamers, like if as much as possible, if you build this win-win-win economy, if you participate, if you win, then I think those are the companies that we're going to see in the future. Like those are the ones that are going to last, because we've had enough, and you see this in all facets of the world, in terms of politics and so many other areas, is that we're kind of tired of people at the top, people running the show who own it, because of money, be the ultimate winner in this space, right? So if everybody can have a piece of that pie, not for doing nothing, right? This isn't like we're not trying to be freeloaders, but hey, we're the ones playing the game. We're the ones making content out of it. We're the ones buying skins. There's just so much that we do to allow these people to release these games every year. I think that's why they need to focus on that life cycle and having that participator economy.
Right. Yeah, and Dort asked the question, are NFTs in general being marketed improperly? And I kind of get that from my daily interaction with normal people who don't understand NFTs. I show them these profile picture NFTs, and they don't understand it. And it's hard to explain it too. Like, why is this worth this much? It's very hard to put into words. But then if I explain something besides a profile picture NFT, if I explain, I'll use Zed Run for example. If I explain Zed Run, they're like, oh my, that makes total sense. So I think that they are being kind of marketed improperly, because right now all the headlines, all the news is about this profile picture. This picture is sold for this, and then everyone's like, well, I can just screenshot that, or why it's just a scam. It's just, you're just buying a JPEG.
Yeah.
There's not the utility or the tech being pushed behind it.
And he also mentioned earlier, hey, NFT exposure during the Super Bowl. Is that a net gain or no for the NFT community?
maybe neutral. I mean, I don't know. I think people. So I think NFT Twitter will blow up and think it's this huge win. But the NFTs that are going to be featured in the Super Bowl, people are going to go like, "Oh, that's cool. Let me go look what that is," and then they're going to see the price, and they're going to have the same thoughts like, "Why is this worth this much?"
Yeah.
So I think it's a neutral game. I think it brings more eyes, but also it's going to bring people to look at it and be like,
Yeah.
who can afford this? Just the people on stage, just the people that are just Snoop Dogg, just Eminem. They're the only ones that can afford it.
Those headlines that are going to be at the top of the search results, because of SEO and stuff, those are going to be such like meme headlines, like Bored Ape sells for $3,000, or somebody gets hacked, this and that. This is going to be all of the get rich quick and big like scams and money losses when people go and search that stuff up. So that's what I think is the most dangerous part. But that's just, that's a learning point for us too. Is stuff outside of NFTs. When you see headlines, don't read the headlines and take that for granted. Like, take the time to go out there and read the article, read an opposing article, like get different perspectives, so that way you understand the topic and what's actually happening. Because that's what's going on in NFTs right now. Is people don't take the time to understand what this can be for our future, and how many industries can be revolutionized.
Yeah, yeah. And Kaz says, if they're in the Super Bowl, we can just say, "Hey, we're not crazy. Look." Which, I mean, my wife early last year she thought I was crazy, but I think she's now accepting I'm not crazy.
Yeah. And Sinewy says majority of people that use social media are on IG. I've only ever seen poorly done NFTs on IG. And that's so true, man. Like, man, you think Discord spam is bad for NFTs? Instagram spam is 10 times worse. There's so many trash projects that I see on Instagram. I mean, I'll kind of take it because they're kind of, juicing my profile at the moment. But
Right.
no, but it's just so trash. And he's right. Like, most people are on there on Facebook and Instagram, and they're seeing these things, and half of them are gonna be sucked into the get rich quick scheme, and then the other half are gonna say that looks absolutely stupid. These people are insane.
Yeah, like I think I saw someone even on TikTok too. It's like I think I saw a video where it showed a picture of an M3 serum. This was like 2 days ago, and it was like this NFT sold for $200 2 weeks ago, and now it's worth $9 million or something. And it's like, okay, well, and it's just like, follow me for insights. It's just these people trying to get these engagement from they're targeting, these people that have no idea what NFTs are, and it's easy to say like, you can make this X amount, follow me, I'll give you the alpha. It's like, that's not how it works. And this is actually a great segue into our next segment.
Hmm.
So for speaking of Instagram, we've got this controversy coming up, and I kind of want to make this, I want to make this like a part of the Friday stream. We want to be fair to people. We want to give projects their due diligence, and we also want to call out some people. So we have this we're gonna have this weekly award. The Wolf in Sheep's Clothing Award. For those of you who don't know that analogy, it's basically someone who's acting like they're part of the herd, but they're really there to take advantage of them. So this week's award, let me share my screen here. We've got thankfully Space Cowboy Top Shot Fund did this long thread, and yeah, this is who we're this week's award goes to Mark Cuban. So speaking of Instagram, so Mark Cuban he's a part owner of this account on Instagram. It's just, all it is at NFT. That's their headline, or that's their tagline on Instagram, and they're just pushing these projects, these scam projects. And if we're in the NFT community, we haven't even heard of these, and they all look the same. They all boast the same background. They're all the artists are hey, this artist is used to work on Marvel. They worked on Disney. They worked on everything. So let's just kind of scroll down just a little bit. He first brought his attention. He had normie friends reaching out to him about these projects. And then this is where you see this account. It's verified on Twitter at NFT. It's got a gold ape, which is we'll kind of get into that later as well. But they're just pushing these. They're basically doing these marketing campaigns for these scam companies, these scam NFT projects. Like, these are three different ape projects. You could have told me these are the same project, I would have believed you. It's literally like looks like the same people just busting out the same project just to make more money, just blatant cash grabs.
Hmm.
There's another example. But what it comes down to is they basically were charging, a minimum price, $100,000 to do the marketing and push these projects. This at NFT account on Instagram.
Yeah. And just shout out real quick to keep our viewers safe is related to this whole controversy is today there's a drop called Lucky Lion Club. And we would advise to pretty much just stay away because this is a part of that same group that's going
Right.
on. It's pretty obvious. You could tell in the Discord setup, the website, the Twitter mechanics in terms of social media marketing, and then the art is just that hyper realistic 3D but cute character. So Lucky Lion Club. If anybody is going for it, please don't. And then if you know anybody who is, your friends, your family, just tell them to stay safe and just never touch that.
Yeah. So like I said, they're charging these projects $100,000 to do this to push it on Instagram, and it's always a project we never heard of. I mean, Space Cowboy even put out a spreadsheet saying, this was the mint price, this is the current price. Most of these, sure, some of them are green, but vast majority of them are, if you minted it, you lost money, and a lot of them are blatant rug pulls.
Yeah, so I sent you the link. I also put it in the Twitch chat. Lucky Lion Club is pretty obvious. I mean, it's part of the same exact group, same team. So
Yeah. Now, how is Mark Cuban? This account is, we go back here, it's at NFT. It says nothing about Mark Cuban. How is he involved? Well, if we look at this article, back in March of last year, Mark Cuban and Jason, which that's the guy who owns the Gold Ape, they partnered and they created and joined and basically invested into this NFT platform, and they own the NFT Instagram platform. Since then, they've removed Mark's name from it. I don't know if there was a separation, but there's nothing publicly was said. I think they're trying to distance themselves from it now that they've been called out. But even go further, since Space Cowboys thread, that Instagram account has now gone through and deleted all these posts of these scam projects. Basically, they're covering their tracks. Like, oh, it's not there anymore. So they've been deleting all these. And now, if you try to find that account right now, I tried finding it earlier. It's basically not there anymore. It's either got deleted, got banned, something's going on fishy, but it's not there anymore. So it's just this, you know, it's just this whole scam, this whole thing going on, taking advantage of normies that don't really know what they're talking about. This is why when we, like, my biggest piece of advice for people that are getting into NFTs is, jump into the community. Don't just listen to someone that's going to tell you what to buy. Jump in, take a few weeks, join Twitter, join Discord, and just listen, be a part of the community. And you'll kind of catch on to this, and you'll see, and you'll be able to see, what's a red flag, what looks like a good project, who, where are these founders from? You'll be able to catch on to all this. But yeah, so this week, the Wolves in Sheep's Clothing Award goes to Mark Cuban and at NFT on Instagram.
yeah, and I don't know how much of a part Mark plays in this, but the thing
Right.
is that he is like a confirmed investor, so he does have some type of responsibility in terms of vetting the people that he hires to run that as a team, and it seems apparent that that wasn't done. So I think there just needs to be more caution in this, especially with the uh, legalities and the stuff in this space hasn't been cracked down on yet, right? So we don't know how damaging this stuff can be in the future or whether or not it's going to be retroactive. But just these are obvious scams. I mean, they're rug pulls, and I don't think that you can be associated with that. So even if you checked in every week, it would have been obvious and you would know. So he needs to do a better job in terms of protecting his brand because people are going to associate him with that.
Right.
Hey, in the chat, Stream Elements just brought it up. It'll be back in 8 minutes. But if speaking of like viewer loyalty and stuff, one of the things that Web3 allows us to do is check out who our day ones were. So everybody in the chat, if you follow that link to the type form, it's going to ask for your Ethereum address. Also for your Twitter, but Twitter is optional. That's just for us to be able to make sure that we follow you guys back and we support you in your endeavors, and that we can shout you out later at some point. But be sure to get your Ethereum address in there, so that way anything that we do in the future in terms of rewards and benefits and access, we can do that through Web3 instead of just your Discord, your Twitch, your email and stuff like that. So go ahead and put your Ethereum address in there. And
Perfect.
again, that'll be back in 8 minutes. Just looking at the comments at the moment. Pitch Dark said it also asked me for my seed phrase. Whoops, I think that was tagline. Tagline
Oh,
must have put that in there.
my bad.
Manga said, "Hey, you guys need to stream at least 3 times a week." You got an answer for him on that?
Manga, I got good news for you. That's exactly what we plan on doing. So our tentative plan kind of moving forward is we are going to do 3 times a week. So we're going to do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Same time every single day. We're going to have our, if you can't make it or it's too early for you, we're going to have our VODs, posted on YouTube. You can probably rewatch it on Twitch. But so if you're not able to make it, you can always watch back later. So going forward, we do plan on doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Depending on schedules, we may have to change days, but that's going to be kind of our consistent time moving forward.
Yep. All right. So says it's closed. Manga says it's closed. Huh. Let me go check that out. I'll fix that. But if you want to lead us into our next segment in terms of, well, you see it there on the thing. I'll let you go.
Yeah. So our next one, something we want to do is really, we have a lot of people that are new to the space that are following us. So we kind of want to do a little segment for them, and so it's gonna be kind of like this beginner's buck. If you're new, we know you don't have a lot of liquidity. So what's maybe the best bang for your buck? So this week we're going to talk about, me and Jeremy are going to mention a few projects that, maybe are great entry points for beginners. So for me, one of mine that I think is great, I wouldn't view this as necessarily an investment. Like, you're not going to put $50 into it and get back 500. I view this one as more of like a utility. You can see the utility behind NFTs, like what's possible with an NFT. It's not just a profile picture, and that's with Zed Run. I recently jumped back into it more as an investment, but from a beginner standpoint, you can go on there, buy an unraced horse for like $50, like pretty cheap compared to other NFTs on Ethereum. It also teaches you a little bit. You have to learn how to bridge to Polygon, and teaches you a whole another network. So not only are you getting a cheap NFT to have fun with, but you're also kind of learning more about the Ethereum blockchain and in that process, and Polygon at the same time. So with Zed Run, what you can do, throw $50 at it, get a horse, and then you can actually race your horse. You can put it into free races, so you don't have to pay anything, and it's just a fun way to keep track of a horse, watch it race, get the family involved. If you have kids, it's fun. So I just think it's such a unique. It's still to this day one of the more unique NFTs in my opinion. And then they have a lot of more updates coming this year. But just purely from a beginner perspective, and you just want to have fun, and you're not really expecting a return on your investment, I think Zed Run is fun just to throw a small chunk of change at, and just kind of get racing and keep track of it. So outside of that, I would say maybe Zen Academy would be another one. I know Jeremy's talked about this one before, but anyone knows Zeneca on Twitter, he pushes out a lot of content, and he has this new NFT he released like a month or so ago called Zen Academy, and it's basically access to his platform, to his Discord server, and everything. And he's really good at bringing on new people, and he's very good at being kind of unbiased and also cutting the crap and just rooting for people. He's just one of the good guys in this space. So that's let's see, I can probably pull it up here. Let me get my screen. I checked the price this morning, but maybe it's different. So we've got Zen Academy, yeah, for like 0.29, 0.3, you get access to his things. I'm not a part of it, but I know several people that are, that they vouch for it, and that's usually a pretty good bang for your buck. And you get whitelist opportunities, you get a lot of different opportunities for being part of it. Let's see, and then I'll go and say my last one, and then Jeremy, I'll let you take over if you have any. But let's see, in these ones, I will disclaimer, I do own a few, so take that with a grain of salt. But this kind of goes to my point in betting on teams. So with FOMO Mofos, they released a couple weeks ago. Their floor right now is 0.4. The reason why I'm holding, I'm not even looking at selling anytime soon, is because I like to bet on teams in this space. I minted 65 Robotos back in the day because of Pablo. Even though it took forever for them to take off, I kept holding because of Pablo, because of the team. These guys are building. And whenever I look at FOMOFOs, I kind of see the same type of thing. The artist behind it, his name's Jasper Wong. He's got this page where this is his website. You can see his artwork here. But then you look at his clients. Who he's worked with in the past. He's got some pretty big connections. He's based out of Hawaii, so he's got a lot of connections over there, and also connections not only in the U.S. but also in the Asian market. But he's got a ton of connections. They're active. They're currently building. So it's definitely these are type of projects I look for. I look for a docs team. I look for what background they are. I look, are they building? What kind of connections do they have? So this is definitely something that I want to kind of hold on to, and just basically take a bet on a team. And yeah,
Fixing the type form at the moment, guys. I think we got like limited or something like that, so it wasn't accepting any more responses. But that should be fixed pretty quick. So I know we were talking about our segment called Beginner's Bucks,
yeah,
right? So that's just a little play on words like beginner's luck and then also the best bang for your buck. So we're calling that Beginner's Buck. If you guys have any suggestions for segments or whatever, leave them in the chat or reply to us on Twitter, like your suggestions and ideas. We don't have a, oh, what the heck? One second. Yeah, we don't have a Discord. Do you want to talk about that real quick while I finish this up? Why we don't have a Discord?
yeah. There's so many quote unquote alpha discords out there. So we didn't really, even though our name is not non-fungible alpha, we didn't want to come out the gate and say, here, join our Discord. Everyone's already in. I mean, if you're in the NFT space, you're just like all of us. We're already in 20, 30, 40 Discords at a minimum. We don't need to add another Discord. We don't need to add more notifications. We already have our homes pretty much. So, maybe down the road, if our community grows and that's something that people really want, then we can go into that. But right now, it's just not something we're trying to do. We're not going to have a Discord. We don't need to have an NFT to gate access to our community. We're just gonna kind of, our goal right now is to push out content on Twitch, do some Twitter Spaces, maybe eventually have some kind of themed podcast coming out as well. And we don't really see a need to have a Discord community right now, mainly for our community because everyone's in so many.
Yeah. All right. So I'm putting the type form in one more time. And supposedly it should be fixed now. We should have a higher limit of responses. So go ahead and hard refresh. If you don't know what a hard refresh is, that's Control, Shift, and R on most computers. So that's going to be Windows. And then I think it's just Command Shift R on MacBook. So for me, in terms of beginner's bucks, probably I would say the pop art cats. That may be something going forward. It really gives me like a cool man's type of vibe. The floor is not too high at the moment. It's 0.21. There was really great demand for it coming out the gate. Of course, FOMO's involved in that. But if you remember Cool Man's also had that same sort of trajectory. So pre-sale, was popping. They didn't sell out as intended. Public sale was pretty much like instantly gone. And then it chilled around 0.2, 0.24 for the next 10 to 14 days. And then after that, we just kind of like moonshotted to where I think we're at 1.2 or something like that today. So pop art cats may be something that, I would do my own research on, take a look at. Another one is maybe getting yourself some exposure to some female-led projects. There's quite a few out there. I mean, pick whatever one you want. I think there's Encryptas, Crypto Chicks, Fame Lady Squad, Women in Weapons. So there's some like that are still under like that $1,000 range, and it's not too late. So I would get yourself some exposure to that. Of course, it's not financial advice, DYOR. Just trying to give you guys a couple things to look at.
Yeah.
We got Dead Friends coming up, right, as a companion, as a first party derivative. So Dead Friends, I think they're at 0.7, which is kind of high, in my opinion. I know Dead Fellas is, what, 3 ETH or something like that.
I think they're almost a four. They're like 3.99 right now.
Yeah. So, and relative to that, point 0.7 isn't that high. But I'm saying for me to recommend this on beginners bucks is probably the highest that I would kind of
Yeah.
say on here. But it's something to keep an eye on. So if they fall, point 0.6, point 0.5, that may be a pretty good play because the Dead Friends community. I don't want to say it's a cult in negative connotation. Like there are some really cool people in there. They know how to do things right. They had the big New York advertisement. So I don't think that you'll be in bad hands there.
Yeah, Dead Friends as a project is kind of, or Dead Fellows, it's really surprised me as a project. Because I think they released around the time of Halloween, like they released like early October, maybe I think September, somewhere around there.
Yep.
And I think at the time a lot of us thought like, oh, these are going to pump because of Halloween and they're going to fall off. But their community is strong. They really do have one of the strongest NFT communities out there.
Yeah, and Dork God highlighted Women of Crypto and just completely slipped my mind because probably I've been thinking about it the last 2 days. Women of Crypto, they just sold out. That's 8,888 of them. They were sold for point 0.2, and I don't think the floor is above that. I think it's pretty close to that, 0.24 or something. So that may be something that you want to expose yourself to. Again, something that I look at before I get into projects is who's the team behind it? How is their sophistication in terms of their website, their contract, their Discord? How many active members are in there? So if they have 20,000 followers, how many retweets and likes and comments are they getting on their stuff, right? Or is this mostly bot activity? Another thing is volume. Again, they just pretty much went on sale yesterday. They had a little hiccup, and then pretty much sold out before the night really ended. I would check out their volume. I would go see previews of their art because some people jump right in without seeing the end result. Maybe they see the placeholder and they're like, oh, that placeholder looks cool. And then when it comes time to reveal, it's something like absolutely different, for better or worse. So check out sneak peeks, man. Join the Discord, see a sneak peek. It's worth it before buying something you don't know without knowing what you're getting.
Right. All right. Well, that kind of leads us to our kind of last little segment, and you see on our Twitter, you see on our Twitch, we have this phrase "Be your own alpha." So I think we're just going to kind of finish off and take time. We each want to talk about what does that mean to us. So Jeremy, go ahead. What does that mean?
Be your own alpha. And hey, look, man, I love answering questions when people come to me and I have the time to answer them or to reply to them. But nobody has the time to reply to everybody one by one by one. I don't have the luxury of having that time at the moment. So what was important to me is that, and I didn't want to be that person asking another, hey, what should I do with this? Should I hold? Should I sell? Should I undercut? Should I buy more? Is this project going to go up? So I taught myself the tools and the knowledge that was necessary for me to make my own decisions. And I think that's really powerful when you can be confident enough to make their own decisions in terms of where you put your money, what you invest in. That's going to go a lot further than relying on a few specific resources, which is dangerous too, because those guys like myself, I have one perspective. Tagline has one perspective. And if you're only going to 2 or 3 people, it's really easy to have this like hive mind way of going about things. So, get different perspectives on both sides of the spectrum for a project, and then have the resources at your availability, the tools and the analytics, and even just the emotional side too of this thing. Because as we know, like crypto Twitter, NFT Twitter, a lot of it is just pretty much based on feeling and emotions and FOMO and FUD. So just open yourself up to that. For me, that was pretty hard. Of course, I have emotions, but typically I just think from like up here with my brain. So I'm like a numbers guy. So numbers, numbers, numbers. And that's how I was in the beginning. And I was doing okay. But the moment I opened myself up to saying, okay, it's not about the art. And there is going to be this FUD and this FOMO and these influencer things. So once you understand the whole picture, you're going to be able to do a lot better in this space.
Right. Yeah, you hit it. You said it better than I could. It's literally, be your own alpha is, the biggest asset you have in the NFT space is yourself. And however you view that, it's true. People come. I probably had 10, I think 10 or so in real life friends reach out to me over the past few months. And I think the most common question, and we've all probably gotten it, is, "Hey, I have X amount of dollars. What do I buy?" And you know, if anyone in real life knows me, that they know my response is, "Well, I'm not going to tell you what to buy." Because if honestly, if I knew, like, hey, if I know this is guaranteed, 2x, 3x, it's probably, already bought up, or I've probably already bought, a ton of it. So, my always response is, jump into these Twitters, jump into Discords, learn how the blockchain works, learn how to bridge Ethereum to Poly, learn how to bridge it back, learn how to not get scammed, why not to type your seed phrase, basically dig in. And it's going to take probably 2 to 3 weeks of digging in before you actually fully understand. And then, but then you're going to hit a point where it's just going to click. You're gonna like, what, this makes a lot of sense. You're going to know what to look out for, and you're your own mind, and you're your own person. And yeah, just you're the person that's going to make the decisions for you. We don't know your risk tolerance. My risk tolerance is different than Jeremy's. Jeremy's is different than mine. Ours is different than people that are new to the space. So it's hard for us to give advice based on that, because, like Jeremy said, we only have our own perspective. So yeah, just take control of your journey. Everyone, this isn't like a get rich quick game. It's marketed that way and it's viewed that way. But the technology is here. The communities are here. It's here to stay for the long term. And you got to put the time in to really understand it and know where to put your money.
I'm just shouting out the type form again because I don't know when the bot's going to put it in. But again, that's fixed. People have been able to put their addresses in there. So all the day ones, we want to make sure we get your address. For those who were here earlier and missed it, I'll try to make sure that for the people that are here now still with us, thank you for joining us on our first stream. Be sure to get your address in the type form so that way we know that you were an early supporter, and we thank you a lot for that. We're super grateful for everybody that's here. The reason we started this was for you guys. We felt that there was a lot of misinformation, a lot of bad information, a lot of memes going around. And sure, we love to have fun. Like, we really love to have fun. If you hang out in Discord with us, you know that, hey, we make jokes too, we meme. But at the end of the day, like, we want to keep people safe, and we want to make people successful in this space. And we felt that the information to be able to do that wasn't being given to those users. So we want to help you guys be as successful as we were, and some of you are even more more successful than us. But we want to build that community. We want you guys here so that way we help each other, and that we all go to the moon. So
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you guys again for joining us. Hopefully y'all enjoyed our first stream. We plan on, like I said, doing this three times a week. So with that said, we will see everybody back here again Monday, 11 a.m. Eastern. Hopefully everyone has a good weekend. Until then, be your own alpha.
yo, be your own alpha. Thank you for stopping by the stream. Share it with your friends and family. Anybody who's trying to check out NFTs, let them know that they can go here. That we're gonna take care of them. We're gonna keep them safe. And everybody have a great weekend. Stay warm and be your own alpha.